guess it is entirely reasonable that someone might have the superpower of being able to stop time and it just not come up in their day-to-day. How would it affect you?
I would get so much more work done if I could stop time, because then I could get my work done. I'm incredibly time poor. How inconsiderate would you have to have the ability to stop time and then just not use it particularly well? It's insane. What about yourself? How would time stopping help you?
I don't know. I feel like travelling around would be better. But then again, public transport isn't going to be running. So what I really have always wanted is an ability to sort of clap my hands and be put onto an alternate dimension where I'm occupying the same spatial dimension as everyone else, but there's no people there. So that I can just go get a seat on the train. The train will still run because in the other dimension people are moving the train, and I can just get to where I need to be without having to interact with tremendous crowds.
Stopping time really is like listening. It's very like a lonely premise, right? You can't interact with anyone else. Things appear stopped, and you're kind of isolated by yourself alone. Yeah. It's just like listening to a podcast.
Uh-oh, hey. Here we go. Whoa! The podcast that likes trees as much as the next guy, but we're not here to discuss trees. I'm Paul Platinum.
I'm Chris Wow.
Chris Wow.
I am joined. Oh, sorry, no, I should be Christophus Bondus.
Oh, beautiful. A reference to the ancient Roman Bondicides.
The Bronduses.
And their short-lived, admittedly, challenge to the Roman Republic, but very much paved the way for what came after.
Yeah, Brutus' family was actually, we're cousins, and they don't like to talk about us. We're the weird ones.
We're going to go as far away from Rome as possible after this coup that didn't quite come off.
Oh, you're talking about the film already? I didn't think we were supposed to.
Well, quite. Yes, I am joined by rollcaster extraordinaire Christopher Bond, and he has joined me in the hopes of letting the now destroy the forever, good lord, by watching Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
One filmmaker has always been ahead of his time. Go. Now, from visionary writer and director Francis Ford Coppola comes an event nothing can prepare you for.
Imagine today's society as a branch of civilization about to reach a dead end. Is this way we're living the only one that's available to us? My plan is a city that people can dream about.
Megalopolis.
What about those standing in your way?
Power the people!
Who like it the way it is?
People don't need dreams. People need help now.
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
We're in need of a great debate about the future. Enjoy the show.
1, 2, 3, yippee, yay.
There's still so much to accomplish, but is there time? Go.
Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Let's get into the history. Not too much, because there's a lot of it, but essentially, Coppola came up with the idea near the end of filming Apocalypse Now. He wanted a 4-part opera to be screened over several nights like the Ring Cycle, only shown in one theatre right in the middle of the USA. And somehow that didn't work out.
Weird. Such a weird thing for that not to work. Odd, one might say.
Imagine deciding, oh, I've got to do it once in my life. Traveling to America and heading right to the middle, which I don't think is super airline supported, so you're probably pulling in and doing some driving. And then watching Megalopolis when you get there.
You know the famously hard to stage opera? Let's do that, but add more restrictions. That's a good artist idea. Let's work neither smarter nor better. Just
I can
work
only
harder.
imagine that there was significantly more audience participation, and I hope so.
I do too. It's more spoons.
Yeah. Oh, God. So, yeah. 4 years later, having lost a fair amount of credibility already, with the box office disaster One from the Heart, and critically derisive films The Outsiders and Rumblefish, he starts development writing 400 pages of notes.
That's a good place to start.
The crucial thing is, please don't start the movie with 400 pages of notes unedited.
Yeah.
Start throwing out some of them notes. Oh, God. Cut forwards 40 years, and he's assembled a massive scrapbook of things that have interested him, like political cartoons and articles. And it does nearly get made in 89, 91, and 2001, but then 9/11 happens, which makes him reluctant to make the film because of how transparently about New York it is. Pushing things back until about 2017, from what I can see, when he decides to join a fitness center because he's gained too much weight, and whilst there, starts listening to old table reads of the 2001 script, which makes him feel like he can finally make the movie. Be very careful.
Maybe I'm showing my hand too early, but my God. My fucking God.
Look, you're in a very emotional place when you go to such a camp. Who knows what's happening to your brain as you're cutting back on the sugars.
Also,
don't do it, folks.
If 9/11 stops you making a movie, I feel like maybe that's the universe saying, don't.
Always act as you would on the day of 9/11 is a beautiful way of being, really, unless it means irrationally angry at people you've never met.
Like Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. Like Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah. So, in 2019, at the ripe old age of 80, he finally and definitively starts production. Famously, he sold off substantial winery assets to pay for the film. And then, after a lengthy pre-production process and casting, they finally move into production, and almost immediately run over budget and start cutting costs, and almost immediately there is conflict.
Yeah. It seems like conflict, from a quick look at even the Wikipedia page, conflict with everyone.
Yes, it's a substantial part of the Wikipedia page. Coppola's a big fan of improvising, which is divisive amongst his cast, and he likes to feel his way through shooting. Not ideal for a big effects-driven movie with hundreds of extras. No. Apparently, he was given to spending days in his trailer smoking grass, which, is pretty iconic, but not very helpful in terms of getting a movie made.
Certainly not in the 21st century.
No, indeed. Or even ever, based on the production history of Apocalypse Now and how angry everyone was with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It does make you wonder, couldn't you have just stayed on the winery smoking grass? But it's beautiful, I guess. He was compelled. He was compelled to express himself.
He was compelled to smoke a bunch of weed on a film set, I guess. I mean,
this isn't any fun unless I know there are hundreds of people waiting for me.
Yeah, but...
Oh, God. So, in December 2022, Coppola fires most of the visual effects team. Merry Christmas. Which, considering the finished product, is insane that he did that. Either way, if the work was better than this, it's insane he fired them. It's insane that he fired people until he got this.
Yeah, right. My notes are insane because this movie makes me feel insane. Thinking about this movie, talking about this movie, even with you, Paul, makes me feel insane.
Put on my Film Critic hat. Maybe it's supposed to.
I'll reach through this Zoom call and kill you for saying that. And anyone who says it.
It's a mad world, my friend.
It's a mad, mad world. And I'm angry.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, Mr. Coppola.
Thank you. That's the quote. God damn it. God damn it.
Oh, God. Well, a lot of the rest of the art department quit over unstable filming environments. And apparently Coppola kept pushing for practical effects over digital, which is insane considering the finished product.
Yeah, can you imagine practical effects for magic material? What the fuck? What the fuck?
But also, when did he stop pushing for that? Because there ain't any in the movie that I
The
can
practical
see.
effects? No, there's, I mean... I'm speechless. What, the fucking gun was the practical effect that he... And the cars?
We're actually going to shoot Adam Driver in the face. That's
We're
where...
going to shoot Adam Driver in the face, and because he's army trained, he can handle it.
God damn it, he's American strong.
He's America's actor, damn it.
He can act it out. Oh, God. There were lots of allegations of misconduct with Coppola, apparently harassing some of the female cast, especially extras. There's lawsuits
And
in place for
recently, a
this.
fucking 13-year-old girl, apparently.
That emerged recently.
Good stuff.
Yes. Good
Fucking
stuff.
creep.
Oh my God. Apparently there were not only not any intimacy coordinators, but also no human resources department.
My understanding was there was at the New York scene, the New Year's scene, the
Yes,
New Year's
yeah.
Eve scene. The intimacy people were absent, and they had been there previously or something to this.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm getting that wrong.
Maybe.
We can certainly say that at a time when he was being gross, there were strangely intimacy people not there.
Maybe they felt it wasn't needed at this New Year's party, but it is always needed at a New Year's party, folks.
It's always needed at a New Year's party. How can
don't
you
know
watch
what
the
goes
balls drop without an intimacy coordinator?
My God, this is erotic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to different New Year's parties than most people, but hey. Ugh, yuck, I feel gross making that joke. Fuck
It's
this
good.
guy.
I like it. So, yes, critics did not think much of Jon Voight's boner. Oh, hang on, did I finish? No, incidentally, this film... this culminates in legal action, which is still going on. Incidentally, the film also stars Shia LaBeouf, Jon Voight, and Dustin Hoffman, which Coppola did intentionally, hiring cancelled people so that the film wouldn't be seen as just another woke Hollywood production. Success, I fear.
For the wrong reasons.
It's certainly not perceived as that, Mr. Coppola, so well done. Now, critics did not think much of Jon Voight's boner. Peter Bradshaw at The Guardian said, "This is a passion project without the passion. A bloated, boring, and bafflingly shallow film full of high school valedictorian verities about humanity's future." Cutting, Mr. Bradshaw.
Beautiful. Very good.
I met him once and was very intimidated because it was slightly awkward, and I just imagined the review of the encounter that was assembling in his head.
It's what people fear of me when they talk to me is the podcast that I will inevitably make about them.
Yeah, it's the stand-up comedian fear, isn't it? That eventually you're going to be a routine.
You'll be a punchline? Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, public, meanwhile, were anal as hell. Amethyst24 on Google said, "Megalopolis, more like Megaflopolis." It's very good. It's very good. They should be proud of that.
Good bit, guys.
bit.
Love it. Pat yourself on the back when you wrote that one.
Pack it up, boys. We've got nothing left.
Yeah, no, Coppola's got the rest of it.
In the end, Megalopolis is a disaster. It's full of random, disconnected ideas that never come together. It tries to be profound, but ends up being laughable. It's a spectacle, but not in a good way. I hate that. I hate when something's a spectacle, but not in a good way.
I hate when I'm looking at, a tragedy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is awful.
Wow, that bank is on fire. Or that orphan factory. I don't know if orphans come out of factories anymore. Maybe
I don't know
they
where
get
orphans
grown.
come from.
I don't know
And
where
neither do
orphans
they.
Fuck. Films had the worst effect on us. Art really does have an impact on people.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. This is the way to the future. Oh God.
What an awful future.
But we'll get there. It's shaking things up, and you can't argue against that.
You can't. You want to, but you can't. You desperately want to.
Let's get through the three men. Very excitingly, Hitler is now a two-man. Because there's some... He's credited on IMDb, which is hilarious. And was also for Pearl Harbor. Now, I'm not saying Michael Bay got the real Hitler.
But
But he's...
If
if
anyone
anyone's
would.
going to do it, and if Hitler's going to appear in anyone's movies, it's going to be Michael Bay's.
It will.
Just beating out Hitler is Shia LaBeouf, also with Michael Bay's help, because he was in Transformers 2 and I, Robot. Somewhat disastrously. Patty Shellhouse, or Shellas, perhaps, who has a terrifying grin in every single picture of her on Google Images, which is quite fun, was in Mother's Day as talent show parent, and Godzilla King of the Monsters as evacuee. In this she plays stylist. I think talent show parent is the credit I'd be proudest of there.
That's peak, yeah.
That's good.
If your role has like 3 descriptor words, that's great.
Yeah.
Each one is an extra zero on your paycheck.
Yeah, as a background artist, that is the height.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted to be like guy in crowd whiff, just like, oh yeah, that one.
Oh yeah.
It's like
I want
just meant
yellow
to be guy in
shirted
crowd.
screaming man.
Yeah,
if they can describe, or like glasses wearing nerd.
I like it if they had to do it that way, so that because the directors just knew everyone would want to know who that guy was. It's like,
yeah,
I love it in the Naked Gun movies. The credits list based on one of the gag line that they had to say. They'll put them in the credits as that. And I love that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Gosh, let's not think about good movies.
Let's try and stick to this. Well, no harm here, because Lawrence Fishburne was in Batman vs Superman, ROG, The Matrix Revolutions, of course, and Event Horizon. So as a foreman.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Well, Event Horizon's got. Yeah. Anyway,
don't worry. In terms of redeeming ones, I've got 2 coming up.
Oh, good.
Because Dexter's dad, James Remar, was in Mortal Kombat, Judge Dredd, and beloved film The Phantom. So he's going to get a reprieve for The Phantom. But not as much of a reprieve as, unfortunately, cancelled man Jon Voight, who was, of course, in Bratz, Pearl Harbor, 4 Christmases, but also our beloved Anaconda.
Bless
Bless him for that.
Bless Anaconda.
Bless Anaconda, because... And also, just his work in that was baffling. A prelude to Megalopolis in many ways. He was waiting for Megalopolis to happen.
Who'd have thought Anaconda and Megalopolis were linked together?
A natural double bill. But given the runtimes, I guess Anaconda is... Actually, it's not that long. It's the thing. It just feels it.
Megalopolis? No, it's not. It's just painful. It's like getting your tooth taken out.
I'll tell you what, though. I have a very exciting suspected Tumen. Because Jon Voight is in this, and there is a scene where a statue of him is unveiled, like a bust.
Yes.
And I sat there in the cinema, and I couldn't help but think... Why does the idea of Jon Voight having a statue ring a bell? And it's because he has a very similar bust in the movie Bratz.
Jesus.
Both of these movies, Bratz and Megalopolis, were distributed by Lionsgate. Distributed, not produced, so probably a coincidence, but either way, there are 2 busts of Jon Voight out there from movies. Or Megalopolis repurposed a prop from Bratz.
Let's be completely honest, it's funnier and more likely that it's the second. Like, it's the latter. That's definitely the case.
They didn't have money to be casting new statues of
it's
Jon
also
Voight
like
for this movie.
It's also like a cutaway insert shot, so I'm sure they were just like, we gotta reach for something to make this feel bigger. Fuck it. What do you got lying around, John?
Get me, John. What have you got at your house? Well, they let me keep this.
Sweet. Let's throw some blue and pink lighting at it and film it from a low angle. Why? Doesn't matter.
I directed The Godfather. God damn it.
And the second one.
You also directed Twixt. Get out of my office.
Get out of my house.
It's a car park. Megalopolis has 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, 55% on Metacritic, and in the end, after all that time, all that effort, and all that work, made $13.7 million on a $136 million budget. He ain't buying back that winery any day soon, and also that means that this movie had a similar loss to The 13th Warrior.
Fucking incredible. What an epic opening for what is truly an epic film.
So
I don't mean epic in the fucking edgy way that us fucking millennials meant it. That is to say, cringy as shit.
Look, there's a reason we're the best generation, goddammit.
Absolutely.
So, Chris, you Emersonian mind.
That's me.
You said as we jump into the future, we should do so unafraid. But what if when we do jump into the future, there is something to be afraid of? That was my audition to the local Cineworld to hire me for that line.
I had exactly the same note.
Mr. Catalina, you've said that as we jump into the future, we should do so unafraid. But what if when we do jump into the future, there is something to be afraid of?
But sorry, you sent me straight away. He literally muses about that concept for so long in the film, and then someone just asks him that question, and he seems stumped.
I mean, the question
To
is
be
sublime.
or not to be, that is the question. It's like, what is the answer? After going through all of that monologue, just being like, I don't know what the answer is. I guess I still don't know.
Well, also, just how delicious it is that in the very next scene, someone would ask, Hamlet, do you think that people should be or not be?
And to be like, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know.
That's a great question. If
To be
only.
stumped by it and to have no fucking insight is so funny.
But
yeah,
that
holy
is
shit.
the line, though. That is the line that a live audience member was meant to perform. And when I saw it at the cinema, we didn't have a live audience member asking him that question. But the movie, nevertheless, still cuts to a weird aspect ratio so that
Yes.
Adam Driver's eye line can be at the bottom of the screen. How did you watch it in the end?
I had a little help from some friends at a local bay. And I had a bunch of gambling ads all through the fucking recording.
God.
And the gambling ads are automated so that they splatter all over the screen into the black crevices of the screen. So anytime there's black corners. So when that happened, he became really, really small as the aspect ratio, and gambling ads filled the screen.
Actually, weirdly, that is part of the film, and that happened at the cinema as well.
Yeah.
That is part of the vision of Mr. Coppola.
It's actually him catching his fucking money back. It's him trying to get his fucking winery back.
I got a great idea. We're going to sell ad space in the movie.
What a revolutionary film idea. Oh, shit. God damn it. People can bet on how they think the movie's going to end. But yeah, they should bet on what they should think they're going to do with Francis Ford Coppola and whether he's actually going to get fucking sued into oblivion or arrested. God.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
Anywho, let's get into what happened. Now, I have to be clear. I saw the movie at the cinema about a month ago, I'd like to say. And I did not rewatch for this because I did not have time. So, my memories are going to be hazy.
That is very reasonable. My video quality was kind of hazy, as I chose not to throw money at this project. And I feel great about that. Sometimes art should be stolen, and I stand by that. As a staunch anti, AI art guy, I am still in the favor of, oh, you can physically steal it, go for it. Don't be, if it's made by shit people, steal their art.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand this movie. I will be completely honest. I picked it because I heard it was terrible. I heard it was popularly terrible. And that is where my thoughts began and ended. Then I looked up the fucking Wikipedia page and saw all of the allegations and stuff, and then went, I'm not going to pay for that. So I made some friends, friends at a local bay, and watched it with gambling ads. Such an interesting bay, full of all sorts of pirates and people. But yeah, this movie is what I think is probably the cross between The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugs, and Smoking Too Much Pot.
Yeah, and also a book on Roman history.
Yes. And of course the Roman fucking allegory for the United States of America.
Which is brilliant and entirely original. I've never seen anyone do that before.
Heaven forbid. Fucking Adam Driver is a sad, wet boy who can stop time and is a genius architect. He muses that he's not good enough at being an architect because money gets in the way. and he's guilty because his wife committed suicide. New Rome is what America is called, which is the stupidest fucking thing in the world, but is entirely what is likely for it to be called if such a thing were to exist. Because
I could see Trump rename it that.
Yeah, I can too. I mean, we've got New York, so fair enough. New Rome.
Says the guy who lives in a country that contains New South Wales.
Oh, mate, for sure. I mean, we named 2 of our states after Queens, and one of them after another country.
Of Wales.
A bit of Wales, yeah. Queensland, we named after the Queen, and
which
Victoria,
is
we also named after the Queen.
Well, you call it Victoria, and it's, suddenly it's not relevant anymore after just like 50 years or however long it takes.
Yeah.
But Queensland, that's almost evergreen. 50% of the time. That's going to be spot on.
50% of the time, it works all of the time. We have a suburb in Adelaide that I grew up in called Elizabeth, after Queen Elizabeth II.
Love that.
And famously, it is very, very, very... And I grew up in the area, so I can say this with a full chest. Very, very, very working class and very, very, very violent and very rough, which I feel is appropriate for the Queen.
Love
that. But anyway...
I mean, what I was amazed is how many parts of Melbourne are named after tiny parts of London. There's a Footscray in Melbourne.
Yeah.
There should not be a Footscray anywhere, not even in Bexley, near where I live.
We had a Footscray football team that played at the state level, or federal level, I think, actually.
God.
The country level. Yeah, Footscray.
In that case, your Footscray is significantly more remarkable than the one we have in Bexley.
My
should be
middle school teacher played Footscray, I think, at one point.
Wow.
Anyway.
To be fair, New York has kind of eclipsed York in terms of worldwide significance.
Yeah. Nobody remembers York.
Something to do with a duke marching people around a hill. It's ridiculous.
Never heard of it. Anyway.
No, and it keeps happening.
New Rome, though, that's a banger.
Yeah.
What a good one.
We meet our main character, who is a member of the patrician families that now dominate this culture. Not too unrealistic, seeing as we've had so many presidents with the same surname, and are likely to get so many more. Oh, God, kill me. Yes, Caesar Catalina is Adam Driver. He's just won a Nobel Prize for inventing Megalon. No, not the Godzilla monster. A new material that allows him to build incredible things. Also, related to inventing Megalon, he can also stop time.
Yes, unexplained, really in detail, how he does that. And if you look on the periodic table, Megalon is next to unobtainium. It's just below it.
It's to do with his creation. You see, when he creates things, everybody else stands still and ceases to exist. But hang on a minute, doesn't the artistic process actually consume a tremendous amount of time? You know, it would be better if it was like an interstellar thing, where every time he went into the artistic world, he came back and years had passed.
Yeah, but if you smoke a lot of weed, something, time stops, something.
He's also like an alcoholic because his wife disappeared.
Or maybe committed suicide. I think.
But he is accused of the murder by Giancarlo Esposito? Or is it someone else?
Yes, no, that's him. Yep.
That's him, yeah.
He's the prosecutor, I think. Or the judge that presides over the court case.
Right.
District attorney. There it is.
Okay. That's right, he was acquitted for it.
Yes, he was.
But yeah, nevertheless, it continues to hang over him and his celebrity, because sometimes cancelled men just can't get a break.
Oh dear. And then he gets a TV mistress.
Yes.
TV presenter. Wow, platinum.
Yep, played by Aubrey Plaza, who at least seems to be having fun here.
You are a very bad boy. But you're lucky, because Auntie Wow has come here to help you. Are you lucky?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, Auntie Wow.
What's that?
That's your pussy.
I said, what is that?
That's Caesar's Megalopolis using up the city's power.
Think it's all over the city?
It's all over the city.
You want to fuck me?
I want to fuck you so bad, Auntie Wow.
Then take your pants off and get on the table.
Yes, Auntie Wow.
Maybe.
And it starts with a TV event, right? There's a big
a televised event of the two people, the mayor and Caesar, offering different versions for the city, different ideas. The mayor offering a glitzy, glamorous casino, which everyone fucking hates, and Caesar offering something abstract and weird, which everyone fucking hates.
Yeah, essentially, throughout this movie, he's going to be pitching for London-based audiences is Shoreditch. Like, just a place where all the bohemians can go and work with their coffee shops, and there'll be artists everywhere, and it'll massively be a drain and dislocate the local population. This is just gentrification, the movie. Megalopolis is just a big gentrified borough.
It is. If I could translate for the Australian listeners,
please.
What he pitches is a fucking waste of taxpayers' money and a big wank stain. Fucking wanky arts bullshit.
Oh yes, in fact, maybe there's a better comparison here. That what he's actually pitching here in the UK, if anybody remembers The Mound, which for international audiences was essentially a big pile of dirt in the middle of London that they spent millions on, and was a big pile of dirt.
We love all haze praise The Mound.
Do you want to climb up the big pile of dirt and do some work up there? No? As my friend Amelia put it, the mound the mound walked so that Willy Wonka's Scottish Wonderland thing could run.
I'm also just Googling The Mound. I should not
stunning.
have Googled The Mound.
Oh yeah, that might get you in trouble. Try The Mound London. Oh, actually, that's
very good.
couple of clubs there that might get you in trouble.
That's weird.
Oh, God.
A lot of queer clubs here for some reason. What's going on there? That's fun.
Love it.
I might have to hit it up. Anyway, it's a Lovecraft story as well, so there you go.
Oh, okay. Look, we've got to introduce Natalie Emmanuel.
Oh, God, yeah, we got to do things. This movie's too long for us to fuck around.
She's Giancarlo Esposito's daughter, and, yeah, behaves as such. But she's becoming obsessed with Adam Driver and his projects, and so is going to be in scenes with him.
Yes, she can also act while he stops time, which seems to be something unique to her.
Oh my God,
Wowee.
Maybe she has a way into his process.
Maybe she's got a process. Maybe she also smokes weed.
Maybe. Would you like to devote your entire life to supporting my genius? Yes, I think I would.
Yes, I'm a woman in a Francis Ford Coppola film. Of course I want to do that.
But I want to do that, says Wow Platinum.
Ladies.
Look, I've had
too much
sex with
man
you.
To go around.
Can't you just leave now?
I've already had sex with you, and you made me feel guilty about my wife. Or something.
We're done. So, yes, there's... So, they're working on Megalopolis. What the fuck happens now? Is this... Like, there's scenes of him being driven around. I'm scanning just the plot summary here to see if there's anything worth mentioning. There's a couple of factions rising.
Yeah, there's a bunch of political factions. They're trying to... There's the banking family. There's
headed by John Voight. Then you've got... Yeah, you've got sort of a young upstart played by Shia LaBeouf. And who's his sort of right-hand man?
Who's Adam's... Which is Adam's cousin. He's equally intelligent, and he will strive at nothing to upstart his cousin.
Right. So these two are sort of the populists. They're kind of young rebels kind of trying to stir up trouble, and, you know, really they're just after money as well, and power, and are also bored. So... Yeah.
And then they do a big party where the bank dad gets married to Wow. Because she wants his money and he's old, and both of them are savvy about it. So it's actually fine. I don't see it as a moral bankrupt act at all. They both are cool with each other. They're like, yeah, she makes me feel young, and I feel better for having married her. Yeah. She's like, yeah, I want his money. They both sign a prenup, which, believe it or not, is a plot point. So buckle in, friends. This science fiction film hinges on prenups. And then they have a party, and to embarrass his cousin, the fucking Shia LaBeouf character films him having sex with a woman who's supposed to be a virgin and a child, and is like, it turns out that A, it's fine, and B, she's not a child because she faked her age.
Yes, it's all her fault.
Fucking hell.
And it was faked.
Yes.
So... That, which, as is the case, I believe, with most sort of online scandals.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely in the film industry, men who have sex with people who fake their age it's definitely the kids, children, women scandal. Literally, there's a line in this film which is like, I hate the word womanizer, implies that the woman is not at fault. And it's like, what the fuck are you fucking talking about?
There is
anyway, we're still doing the plot
things.
summary, aren't we? Fuck me.
Oh, God, yes,
Oh,
it's
God.
wonderful. There's also a satellite that's going to crash into the Earth.
Oh, yeah, the Soviet satellite just breaks up. Because it has to be the fucking Soviets.
Yes, of course.
Can't be America's own hubris in launching something into space and maybe, like, thinking... You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Well, I don't think they've ever done that. Nor have any of their
citizens.
citizens.
Right. Perfect country. Yeah. No, you're right.
They've only put things into space that are useful and stay up there. The Soviets, they were so crazy and obsessed with beating America, which they can't because they're bad. They just kept filling the space with junk that continues to rain down on the ground like centuries, decades later, and it's terrible. It's terrible that they did that.
It's just dreadful. Yeah, the influence of their work in the fucking 80s has this terrible consequence on the current world. Francis Ford Coppola,
America,
Reagan, Godfather 3. Anyway,
yes, but yeah, so. Essentially, a large amount of New Rome is leveled, and so Adam Driver pitches, hey, we could build that thing, and everyone's like, timing, dude.
Yeah, watch your timing. And also, people are poor and need money and are worried about eating and staying alive, my dude. Maybe a fucking pet project can wait.
But poor people, if ever a figure rises up and said, hey, everything's wrong and the rich should have to pay some money to make it right, they're probably manipulating you in their own power-hungry sort of quest. Because the only people who really never trust anyone except for eccentric artists and inventor types. They've always got the best sort of the best for you in mind.
That's right. As the film says at one point, don't pretend to be good, pretend to be bad.
Exactly.
Because reasons that I wasn't listening to because I was enraged by that point at the quote and the film.
Oh,
anyway,
God. Does he get shot in the face yet?
He should, but not yet, because he's got to get his wife pregnant.
Right. Okay.
Oh, sorry, get her pregnant and then marry her, which is a plot point for some reason. Anyway, that means that they become friends. The dad and the mum, I think.
Yes, which is Giancarlo Esposito. And is that where they've got Talia Shire?
Yes, I think so.
Is it? Oh, God, I don't know. Also, who's Dustin Hoffman in all this? Oh, he's just a guy who goes around...
He's the fixer. He just gets a lot of screen time for some fucking reason.
Yeah, because it was meant to be James Caan, which everyone would have been much happier about. Unfortunately, he died and took the easy way out.
Coward.
Okay, I'll fix it. Just wanted to check with you first. Because, Julia, I don't mind the lightning, but the thunder scares the shit out of me.
Oh, God.
I wish I could have died watching this film.
All right, so at this stage, WoW is also scheming things.
Yes, she wants the bank monies.
Yeah, she wants the bank money, so she is scheming with Shia LaBeouf to try and overthrow the prenup and just sort of get control of the bank.
So she manipulates Shia LaBeouf into doing it. It doesn't work, the manipulation, but it does work because the dad has a stroke, or the husband has a stroke.
Yes.
So I guess it worked?
Yeah. Oh, God. And then, yes, after that, Adam Driver, who has gone out driving, as he so often does, with his Lawrence Fishburne driver, who's also been narrating this whole thing, by the way.
Yes.
He is shot in the face by a child who has been hired point blank by the guy who's the friend of Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf has friends. Would you believe it? You heard it here first on this podcast.
This is truly a fantastic sci-fi vision of the future. At this stage, the doctors decide we're going to use Megalon to rebuild his skull, resulting in some hilarious special effects that look straight from a Neil Breen film.
and some acting that is of a similar quality.
Just not as entertaining, folks. So, yeah. It's Driver and Esposito. They team up now because there's riots going on the street from care of Mr. LaBeouf. And there's a big climax sort of coming together, which basically, for all the action, culminates when Shia LaBeouf and Aubrey Plaza are just murdered by John Voight in the bedroom. Because haven't you always wanted to see the disgusting old rich men finally get revenge against the gold diggers who are after him? Isn't that a fantasy piece that you've always wanted to see realised?
When I'm high in my fucking caravan, I absolutely do.
I really hope that Trump takes out Ivanka before he goes.
That would be such a bait and switch of the world's history. It should be the other way around.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, he's already got one of them buried on his golf course after murdering her. So.
Yeah. What's another one? I suppose.
Well, what's another couple on the
Jesus
screen?
Fucking Christ!
I hate everything about the world.
Everything. Yep.
Okay. I think he then dies after that. I believe.
Or if he doesn't. He doesn't, but he should.
He should. Adam Driver, I think, is able to talk the crowd down thanks to his vision of a beautiful, beautiful future in which coffees cost £20.
Yep, that's correct.
And everybody has Wi-Fi outdoors.
Mussolini fucking Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, good.
They hang him upside down, which is good.
It was a very good speech, to be fair.
It was a great speech. Enough to Mussolini, man.
That takes some doing. Although, actually, your average crowd is only a few steps away from Mussolini as someone. So
power to the people, everyone.
It all comes good. Megalopolis is finished, and it's just as good as everyone thought it would be. The government stopped getting in the way, and all the poor people just, I guess, dealt with it. Learned to stop complaining so much.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah. Don't worry, all this wealth is going to trickle down to you eventually. And, yeah, they have a baby called Sunny Hope. Because of the beautiful future they're all going to have now.
Yeah. And then at the end, Julia stops time. And Sunny Hope can travel unaffected because she isn't affected by the time stopping. And this is what the Wikipedia says. I watched the film and I thought it was Sunny Hope that stopped time, and she was the only one who was unaffected because she could stop it, and she was more powerful than her parents. I thought it was an intergenerational. My children are going to be more powerful than me, more liberated by whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, it ends.
Well, it ends with a title card that is read by children, and I feel we should read that because it's quite.
Shall we read it together?
Let's
and try and synchronize it. Yeah, okay.
Over Zoom.
I've got it right here in front of me as well.
Good.
1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to our human family and to all the species that we protect. One Earth, indivisible, with long life, education, and justice for all. Justice for All starts playing. Wow, what an ambitious little film that was.
Yeah.
And what insight into America. I feel I finally understand it now, and I'm ready for the second Trump presidency.
I'm so ready for the fucking goddamn it.
Spoiler alert for anyone who's not been keeping up.
Yeah, sorry about that, friends.
I'm really, really sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so what did you think of Megalopolis?
I didn't want to, and now I have to. And I'm so mad about the combination of things. Paul, I wasn't thinking. I'm so sorry. I originally pitched you, or you suggested to me that maybe we could do another Fast and the Furious, and I was like, nah, man, let's do something bold. Let's do something kind of trending online. Let's try and get some more listeners in. Try and do some strategy when it comes to search engine optimization. I'll be a good producer of a podcast in my other job, and I'll try and suggest something that's got good legs for my good friends in one good thing. I'll do a good work. No, fuck me, I'm wrong. I should never do that. Give me Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. I want it back. Give me Fast and Furious 2. Give me any of them. I'd much prefer any of them to this.
certainly have a more coherent worldview. But nevertheless, I do think you will have succeeded, and that people will be dying to hear about the Megalopolis takes that we have prepared. Because, yeah, wow.
I want a
Platinum,
sequel to this film.
What a film.
Yeah.
Megalopolis 2. Two Megalopolis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Yeah,
fuck
it's
me.
a lot. I remember leaving the cinema, and I was with a friend who actually liked it, which has proven divisive amongst my film crowd. Is that, yeah, there was an argument at a party at one stage when factions were formed. My beautiful, beautiful friend Jason hated it as much as I do, and God bless him for that. I'm just saying, it feels bad, and it feels like it was made by bad people.
I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
I really do.
You have to kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because I was at a different. This has come up at multiple parties. One of the parties I was at, he said this, expressed his dislike of it, and then I met, and I love Jason. I love him a lot. He's a great guy. Then I met a guy I'm less fond of, and he said, "Don't listen to him. It's brilliant." And I'm like, this checks that the person I don't like. But subsequently, two people I do like have also expressed admiration for Megalopolis. I finally saw it and just left the theatre thinking, I feel as though I have seen the upper limit of what the monoculture and the mainstream artists who work within it, and I know Coppola's had a rough ride of things, but he has defined so much of American cinema with the Godfather movies and Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
You can't consider him to be an outsider figure, really, only in as much as he makes himself one with his impractical ideas.
Yes.
I feel as though I've seen the limit. This is what the boldest mainstream big budget American epic can achieve, and it's pretty generic in terms of what it's saying.
Utopias offer no ready-made solutions.
Well, they're not meant to offer solutions. They're meant to ask the right questions.
Yes, but utopias turn into dystopias.
So we should just accept this endless conflict that we live in now? Wasn't it human friendliness that stimulated our brains by learning and enabled us to outcompete all other species on Earth?
Oh dear, blah, blah, blah.
It's a nice picture, but how do we know?
Well, there's no other way. How else could such a slow-maturing species make it through the Ice Age?
Now,
How could
boys.
such few weak bipedal apes evolve more costly brains, smarter brains than other apes, and do it without reproducing so slowly they go extinct?
We were fierce, aggressive, warlike, as our closest ancestors, chimpanzees.
Yes, but there were so few of us and scattered across a vast continent. So, no.
Metropolis is obviously an influence. It's surprising it's not saying that much more than that 100-year-old movie in terms of, that movie's thesis was maybe the head should work with the body, and the mediator shall be the heart.
Yeah.
Basically, chill out, everyone. We can all work together. Don't
Yes.
worry, working classes. Maybe the rich will look after you, as opposed to any sort of suggestions of major restructures of power, that might be necessary to make our system fairer. And this just feels like it. It's concerned with the same things. It's just concerned with politics. It's concerned with, art in this really nebulous way that doesn't include any kind of art theory whatsoever. And if you're making a big, obtuse movie, could you spend some time talking about architecture and talking about, the philosophy of ideas that goes behind some of these things? Like, if you're going to be obtuse and weird and off-putting, you could at least do so in a way that's kind of interesting. There's a movie called Architecton, which beautifully marries a philosophy of architecture to problems with the modern world. It's coming out soon. I think it's A24 have picked it up.
Yeah, right.
There's no insight here. There's no character, really. You've got this big eccentric thing, all of the wow platinum, I'm anal as hell, you're oral as hell, feels like an attempt to escape any kind of scrutiny, because people can just point to it and say, yeah, but look, it's supposed to be crazy and ridiculous, It's not taking itself too seriously, and it's like, it's taking itself so fucking seriously.
So, yeah. It's such a... I knew it was going to be bad when I saw that opening title card, and I saw the word fable, a fable.
American fable, sure.
An American fable. And I wrote this down before that happened, but I just wrote it down. And this, I think, feels really like a summary of it. Morpheus reading out how the US is like Rome, smash cut to a US soldier turned actor looking sad, wet, confused in front of a green screen background. it feels like that's the end of it. It begins as it really ends as it begins, and it doesn't add anything more. That is to say, isn't the woe and struggle of the artist such a fucking tragedy? And then to say, like, but actually it's fine because people who... And I'm not saying Adam Driver is necessarily a bad guy, but, like, he was a soldier for a long part of his life, and then he turned to acting, which is great and fantastic. But, like, he didn't train a long time as far as I'm aware. Or maybe he did go to the Juilliard School. Fuck me, never mind.
See, the thing is, I do love Adam Driver, and I will die for Adam Driver. But this project, and I do feel like Adam Driver is the only person you could have gotten in for this, and I'd love to see him. It reminds me of House of Gucci in that sense, because I know what that man is capable of. He's capable of nachos!
Yes.
It's the greatest morning of my life! He's capable of this. But he will often choose not to do that, and will instead be the person who is the only person on set taking the movie seriously, and that's not what I need from you all the time, Adam Driver.
Yeah. Well, I need someone to fucking take it seriously, and I need someone to take it as seriously as he does, or for him to realize that that's not what's going on around him. It's this shockingly naive film, I feel, which is that even it's this art versus politics thing where it says, like, even the act of making art, regardless of its intention or its outcome or the qualities that in it, is in any way, shape, or form, like, useful to stand against kind of popularism, to stand against tyranny. You just have to make art, guys. Just make more art. Just throw money at artists. It will always solve it. Because the artist is always going to have the answers. The artist is never cynical. The artist is never a profiteer. The artist is never, like, trying to keep a roof over their head, or is never trying to, like, feed their family. The artist is just this noble fucking spirit who is always going to solve everyone's problems. And so just throw money at the arts. Spend $130 million making a project. Because just by making it, you've made the world a better place.
Sure. But hey, no government interference in it, though, because if the artist really wants to make their art, they can always just sell their vineyard.
Yeah, right.
But that's the thing, is this film feels like if you took a standard dad and gave them the money to make any movie they wanted to make, they would probably make some kind of action or sci-fi film, and hilariously their real-life dad concerns would be reflected in the various aspects of the plot. Of course there's a subplot involving divorce proceedings and a prenup. Of course it's about an artist struggling against a system that's hostile to him. This is just Francis Ford Coppola the movie.
Yeah.
This is just the things that have concerned him over the last few years, sort of writ large in this large camp sort of sci-fi space. And in some ways, like, I try to get on board with it being admirable, with the idea that he self-financed this, that he put it together himself, that he didn't, necessarily take money or space from anyone else. He just kind of made it happen himself, and ultimately it has been a flop, which in some ways should make it more endearing, because it didn't work. So it is now free of any sort of awards contention or, dominating too much space in cinemas or at the box office. It is allowed to be what it always was, which is a pure little vanity project made by an eccentric person working to their own beat. Why is that not charming? Because
I have the answer to that. I have exactly the answer to that. I feel, at least.
Please.
My answer is that the process in making it was so evil and so self-centered, and that's why this film lacks any kind of nous about what it is to be an architect or how the details of this work works. Is that he isn't interested in the editing is atrocious. The cinematography is awful. The lighting is misused. Yeah, right? Everything. Miss. And it's because he fucking just exploits, and he has no interest in the technical skill set. It's the fucking... I teach high school kids for a living and middle schoolers. There are kids who think that if they do one good scene, they're now an actor, and they don't have to know the craft. And I actually... functionally don't think that Francis Ford Coppola respects the craft. Like, I don't think he... I think that's why he's such a big fan of improv. I think that's why he loves things to be just kind of spontaneously made. As if that's going to... Like, shifting through so much sand, of course you're going to find gold. But, like, throwing more money at the project doesn't make it better. And being like some sort of fucking auteur about it doesn't make you a hero. You know?
No, I think you're probably right. A lot of people have accused this movie of being like if Neil Breen had a budget, and it does actually seem like the processes and understanding of the filmmaking process might be similar. Weirdly, considering we are talking about the person who did the work in the 70s and 80s. I'm quite fond of some of his 80s work. I like Rumblefish. But yeah, this is very much on par with Twixt. You know, it looks like Twixt. It has performances in it like Twixt. It's just that he threw himself into it in such a way as it had better marketing. Otherwise, I do think this movie would have come out and disappeared in the same way as Twixt. But because he's been working on it for 20 years and made a spectacle of its production, and even its marketing, like there were continued viral stories about it, you know, all the way up to its release, including the trailer they put out that contained fake pull quotes from critics about films, that sort of his previous films. You know, they attributed a quote to a newspaper about The Godfather when that newspaper had actually reviewed The Godfather extremely well.
It's shocking.
They wanted to position themselves as outsider art, even though these were all Hollywood insiders with, you know, massive stars using their, you know, credentials to try and pull this thing. And released by a major studio as well. This isn't the Eras tour. He's not self-financed the release of this thing. It's
Lionsgate, right?
You know,
who...
It's Lionsgate, yeah, exactly. Owners of the world's only John Voight statue. Yeah. And, you know, it's out there he got it to Cannes on his own potentially, but a lot of, you know, filmmakers do that. It's just the kind of way of it. But yeah, he's positioned himself as an outsider, and now he's trying to use the trailers to sort of suggest, you know, this is the movie they didn't want you to see. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah, I didn't want to see it either. It's also just like the way, like the and I hate to bring it back, but I think it's really quite telling of, because it's about him, right? Like it's just functionally about him. Even the character that I think they talk, the Adam's character has, the kid that they have at the end is named Sunny Hope, and that's fucking shit. But I think they say that if he's not called Sunny Hope, if it's a girl, it won't be Sunny Hope. It'll be Frances.
Yes, Frances, or if it's a boy, Sunny Hope, which gets a big laugh from the crowd.
Yeah, and it's just like, you genuinely are self-inserting into this so hard, and you don't get to say that America's culture has gone to shit when you, as the filmmaker of the 70s, it contributed so heavily to the current zeitgeist, but also as the guy who fucking went around on set and groped women. Don't get to fucking say that, man. When you put those women in this film, you put them in a nightclub, and you're like, oh yeah, they gotta be scandalous, they gotta be sexy, and then, oh, isn't society crumbling? It's like, no, man, you're literally you fucking want to film it. You're the fucking guy who wants to create it. You're so keen on it. It's fucking so hypocritical and so exploitative and so fucking enamored with like mothers and his relationship to his own mother and his relationship to his own wife. It's just, the only good scene is when he's talking with the two female characters that really have any screen time, or three, Adam's mother and his girlfriend, and he's talking about what it is to be in a relationship with a mother who's really kind of scared of you. That's it. That's just, it's just, ugh.
It's frustrating, and it's also curious because it's curious the way in which the film. Okay, sorry, just checking Twitter for the OG team, and I see it's just you trying to...
screaming into the void.
Love it. It's curious the way in which the subject of the movie reflects its manufacture, because of course you have, you know, what Adam Driver's trying to do reflects what, you know, Francis Ford Coppola's going to do, and the sort of vision of Megalopolis, the city, is similar to that of Megalopolis, the film. But yeah, it borrows all of this Ayn Randian kind of philosophy, and you do wonder if Mr. Coppola is a bit of a subjectivist, or whatever the hell it was called.
Objectivist.
A ridiculous objectivism.
The
opposite.
Yeah.
A ridiculous philosophy I've always hated.
Same. I think it's stupid as shit.
I was like, wow, that's a horrible way of seeing the world and thinking, and my God, the kind of people who would find that inspirational frighten me.
Sorry if you do, I guess. Not really, actually.
Oh, God.
Learn what a road is and what taxes are.
there's something frustrating about it, because ultimately the film attempts to... Well, it doesn't really, does it? It doesn't decry the fact that there's a few rich families at the head of the pack who rule the whole world, because one of those rich family produces an offspring who's ultimately going to fix the world with his entrepreneurial brilliance and inventiveness. Because, you know, this America can still function as a meritocracy where the most brilliant product will eventually come in and fix the world through sheer power of how perfect it is. And it'll definitely be a product, a material that fixes the country, you know, not a technological evolution.
Yes.
As opposed to there's a word for this, technological, kind of like teleology. It's this idea that like everything will eventually progress towards a perfect point, and that technological progress is always automatically perfect.
Yeah, it's marching towards this singular good thing or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also,
which, as are we.
Yeah, right. Where the one good thing, one might say. It's also like the two families at the end merge. Like, it's not just... the problem is clearly his preoccupation is not that some rich families and powerful families are in charge of the country. In fact, there should be less of those.
Yeah.
Which is just a shocking fucking take. So tone deaf. Let's
really
get the Bidens and the Trumps married together. One family under God.
That's what he tried to do.
Yeah.
That's why he apparently hired people who were very extremely on the left and right wings, because he just felt that, there can be this marriage of the two ideas, which is beautifully naive, but just not very helpful when one side has considerably more power than the other.
It's such a fucking naive point of view, and it's like it's the same as his art. He's just like just throw shit at the wall and see what happens. Let's put a tiger and a baby in the room together. Let's see what art they make together. It'd be fun.
You know, and he himself is the head of this dynasty, and it's hard for me to complain about that because I absolutely love Sophia's work, but. You know, he's very much a part of that establishment. I know he had to sell his winery for this, but you just can't help but feel that if he had taken some notes ever, it might have been beneficial, and also he might have... But that's the whole thesis he's going with, is that the worst piece of work by an auteur will always be better than something that had been designed by committee, ignoring film as a collaborative medium.
Yes, which is why I point to... I don't think he understands how he as a film, as films, as artwork. It just doesn't happen that way. It never has.
No.
And it never will. And it's why we get stiff performances from actors. It's why the set looks fucking dreadful. The CGI looks awful. Is functionally because he wants to do it himself. He wants it to be his, and he wants to be the baby genius that his mum loves, or his wife loves, or some woman he then gets to smooch and grab and grope.
He wants to be the baby genius that starred Jon Voight.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a noble pursuit. Now, quick firing is tricky because I didn't watch this movie in preparation for this podcast. I saw it a month ago. I remember some stuff. How's your notes?
My notes are rambling and incoherent like this film.
Love it. Do you want to... We'll have a go.
All right. Good things?
Good things, please. I like Lawrence Fishburne's voice. Always have, always will. I enjoy him as the narrator, even when he's saying really dumb, obvious, on-the-nose stuff.
There's a line where they go, "What way did Huey go?" Well, let's all go this way then, and they walk away in the opposite direction. It's a bunch of band people. They're like a marching band, and one of the guys walks off with a bunch of women. Yeah, and he gets dragged away, and then the band leader is like, "What way did Huey go?" And they point. He goes, "Well, let's go the other way." Or what was it? "Let's all go this way then." And they walk the opposite way. And that's funny. That's good.
Yeah. It was stunning. It was I liked that guy. He reminded me of an extra from something like The Godfather Part 3. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Definitely Part 3. And it was entertaining as a result.
Yes.
Okay, there is a absolutely absurd moment where we cut past a statue of Justice, and Justice, the statue, comes to life and sort of sits down and looks despairing, and it was a huge laugh.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
The first time they quote Shakespeare, "To be or not to be," and someone interrupts with a, no, let him keep going with this line. Or like a, let's see how this plays out sort of line, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in general, I quite liked the sort of press conference-y moments because I feel like Coppola did manage to find a ridiculous kind of moment in there where it just, like, a balance in there between the absurdity of it and what he actually wants to achieve, and it felt a bit like a Peter Greenaway film or something. And it just, the frenetic back and forthing and ludicrousness of the characters kind of worked there, so I enjoyed that.
Yes.
I cleared this site to create something to inspire people.
People? Oh, when have you ever even cared about people, Catalina?
Here's my plan. A city that people can dream about.
People don't need dreams. They need teachers, sanitation, jobs.
The need is to create something that lives on after a city fair, Mayor. Which is why Megalopolis will be built entirely out of the Megalon, which is imperishable.
The Megalon is unsafe. Concrete, and steel is safe.
I liked the other time that Shakespeare was quoted. Where was it? Oh no, I didn't like that because I've written "stop quoting Shakespeare" in my notes. So I think I was tapped out by the second time. I do have a nice quote though.
Okay.
This was, I thought, a fantastic line, a real banger, which makes me think someone improvised it on set or brought it in as they wrote it. There are only two things you can stare at for too long: the sun and your own soul, which I thought was fucking good, actually. I thought that's quite nice as a fucking little twisty line. I thought that was quite all right.
Cheesy moments like that I'd love to see more of. Okay, there was a couple of aesthetic moments that I did enjoy. One of which is the triptych that kind of happens. I think he says, "Time, show me the future," which is the kind of thing that gets said here.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, we get to see, we then get split into a silent movie style triptych and get a montage of sort of golden shots that kind of overlay into each other and eventually sort of, you know, become this kind of singular ghostly image and sort of impressionistic image. And I enjoyed that.
I liked the design authority blowing up buildings. That was funny to me. As the words design authority and then blowing up buildings. I enjoyed that as an opening choice in terms of setting the narrative. That was good.
Something like that suggests just a much sillier film, and a film that, you know, something works by some sort of cartoon logic, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I almost said Who's Afraid of Roger Rabbit, which is a different, much more fraught kind of movie.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. I really liked. There was, what moment was it? Oh, I think Voight says concrete, and steel, and like whispers it as an echo for himself. Which I was like, that's a fucking choice. I don't love it, but like, it's a choice. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling. I'll be completely honest. Oh,
yeah.
You know what?
I'm really trying to remember stuff.
Adam Driver doing his weird arms thing, where he's like, Adam Driver doing his weird arm things, where he's like moving his arms around. That was, I think, if it wasn't intercut with a new edit every fucking half a second, would have been really nice to watch for a second, because he's. I think he might be doing some good acting. It's hard to tell with the frequency of the cuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's been memed to hell, but the back to the club moment is obviously extraordinary.
So go back to the club.
Yeah.
It is. The thing is, I went to the cinema expecting many more moments like that, and it was a stroke of genius to release that clip in particular, because with its, oh god, the score to this movie as well is just an old-style FMV game, is what it sounds like score-wise.
Yeah.
And to have that going on with these hideous visuals and these ridiculous lines, I think did build up a lot of people's anticipation that they would be able to enjoy this ironically.
Yeah,
and I think some people have tried. I don't think it's been a very successful attempt.
I tried about halfway through. I was like, cool, time to change gears. Because I went in being like, you know what, I'll give it a red... doing it for one good thing, gotta try. Gotta fucking try. But no, I was like, I can't. Gear shift, sorry. Save my brain. I gotta work tomorrow morning.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's fair enough. Sometimes you can't. And, as talented as Francis Ford Coppola is, he's just no Neil Breen.
He just isn't.
I think I have one more. I'm trying to find something here, just to remind myself of this movie. But I have one more definite one, which is, it's this sequence where he's in the car. There's so many sequences of him in the car, but Lawrence Fishburne asks him, where do you want to go? And he sort of, to heaven or hell, and he says purgatory or something like that. And he pulls off the road, and we enter into a sort of weird underbelly kind of thing. And I and the everything about that part of the movie, of that part of the sequence, sort of just kind of worked for me. It just, the music, the sound, the visuals, just helped. I'm trying to find best moments here, and all I'm seeing are people reviewing this just being like, this movie is an absolute mess, and I kind of loved it. It's like you're trying to build this narrative of it being so bad it's good.
And it's not.
And I feel like you're not seeing enough so bad they're good movies. If this represents
the fucking
craziness.
vignettes as well. The fucking I thought it was. I was like, oh, that's a choice. Let's see where they go with it, and it didn't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. There's so many things wrong. Okay, you know what? Halfway through the dinner scene, where it's the mother character, the fucking
Talia Shire.
That was fine. There was half of that scene. The first half of that scene, I think, is solid acting on all four people, which I think is bizarre to have four actors in this fucking film acting well at the same time.
I don't think they were green screened in that moment, which may have helped.
No, that might have helped. Yeah, crazy. Jeez.
Oh god. Okay, are we out? I'm out.
I'm out. I'm tapped.
I'm out. Okay. Good. That's about it for Megalopolis, but let's check in with the OG team. Okay, Jennifer Soanes over on One Good Thing. Over on Facebook says, Aubrey Plaza seems to be having fun. Also, clips I've seen show Adam Driver chewing the scenery, talking about the club. Seems like something that could be fun in the right mindset. Oh, again, like you mention all these marketing things, and all it does is put me in mind of how I was before I saw it. And you're right, there's a lot that does seem to be fun. We've not mentioned Aubrey Plaza. It's almost tricky to reconcile the performances from people like Aubrey Plaza, who seems to be having a lot of, fun with the whole thing. She kind of reminds me of Jared Leto in The House of Gucci. Going all the way back to House of Gucci here. But Jared Leto in House of Gucci is doing something substantially different to what anyone else is doing. And the effect of it is, interestingly, as soon as, he's in the room with someone else, like Lady Gaga, she, matches her performance to him. And I think the same thing happens with Aubrey Plaza when, she's in the room with Shia LaBeouf and they're doing the sort of, sex scene, Auntie Wow scene. Yeah. Suddenly the movie does kind of become something else. But, yeah, the coherence and overall enjoyability. Because the thing is also, you kind of acclimatize to it. When I see a movie, like a clip out of context, I think, oh, wow, that's how all the dialogue was delivered? But when you're watching it as part of the movie, you just get used to it.
Yes.
And it stops being amusing.
Yes. It becomes grating.
Yeah.
In the same way that, a sincere child playing an instrument is like, oh, that's sweet. And then 2 hours later of it, you're like, fucking kill me. This sucks.
Yeah. Oh, God.
God.
Ugh. Anyway, I think that's going to do it from the OGTE. So, with that said, let's talk about the one better thing. The one better thing. Do you have a one better thing?
I do.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think this is a good one as far as I'm concerned in terms of what it is doing. So my one better thing is a psychological postmodern drama. A Charlie Kaufman film. About building and about how the artist's process is about building. Synecdoche, New York.
Synecdoche, New York.
Fucking a film that beautifully examines the artist's relationship with themselves and through the artist's process unpacks the psychological state of the protagonist and of the art process itself. That is the psychological state of a person making art. It is detailed. It is engaging in terms of its performances. It is flashy with its directing, but not gratuitous, not self-involved. It isn't indulgent. It is just a fantastic film, and every actor is shooting, firing on all cylinders. It is beautiful.
Wonderful. For mine, I'm going to go for a movie that I feel matches this quite similarly in some ways in terms of intent and production process, but represents a much healthier collaboration-based process. And that is the 2021 movie Annette, which is a movie I really liked. It's directed by amazing French director Leo Carax, who's been working since the 80s and has done astonishing work throughout his career. And this was, I think, was it his first feature film after Holy Motors? Film. Yes, it was. So a long time away. And before that, I mean, the last one before that was Polar X, which I believe was a television film, or at the very least had a television version that was quite famous. But made his name in the 80s with The Boy Meets Girl and Mauvais Sang. And yeah, Annette is a beautiful collaboration between him and Sparks, Ron Mayle and Russell Mayle. Because you clearly have this beautiful vision that's clearly a result of a collaboration between all of these figures. And that's just so much more interesting as a result. You've got this bold aesthetic style, this really quite remarkable looking film that also showcases the music of Sparks and is telling a story that they clearly wanted to tell. It stars Adam Driver again, but in a performance that's much more congruous with what's actually going on and much more involved and active and interesting. And then also this gorgeous performance by this puppet within the film that is so interesting in its on-screen presentation and sort of how they use this puppet to sort of, essentially change the way in which you perceive the child. And it's about the artistic process and about exploitation, about guilt, and also features a dead wife, but in a way that doesn't feel like a tacked-on extra detail.
Yes.
So, is actually about guilt and loss and all the rest. It's melodramatic as hell, plays into several of the same tropes, potentially harmful tropes, as Megalopolis, but is just altogether a much more successful and interesting film.
It's interesting that both of those pieces... The thing that fails in this is that it's about the artist, not the artistic process, because that's the problem in this.
True. That's true.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
The one
Good
better
stuff.
Thing.
The one better thing. The one better thing. Chris, how can people find out about you and your endeavours?
People can find out about me on the podcast Roll to Cast, ROLE to Cast. I would normally direct people to my Twitter account, but since I'm leaving that hellscape,
and
I haven't quite set up my Blue Sky, which is great. I do recommend everyone go to Blue Sky. It's very cool. But you can check me out at Roll to Cast. We're a TTRPG actual play podcast for Australian actors. Do games that aren't Dungeons and Dragons. So if you like fantasy stuff, that's great. But also if you like science fiction or if you like horror, blah, 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 blah. Come check us out. It's good fun. You like it, don't you, Paul? You'd recommend it.
I do. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you've got to check that out. If you're into role-playing podcasts, you absolutely have to be listening to Roll to Cast. The sheer amount of different projects you have now means there's going to be something for you, depending on what kind of genre you're into and what kind of game system you're into now. So get on over there. And whilst you're at it, have a listen to Quest Fantastic, which is also our role-playing podcast, crossover / versus situation upcoming at some stage. Christ, trying to imagine getting those schedules in order.
Oh my god.
But also One Good Thing, OGT Pod, anywhere you want to go, we'll get you that. Even at the hellscape that is X, which I think I will be exclusively using for One Good Thing from now on. I think I'm going to make that my main account and I've already removed it from my home screen. So I'm hoping that adds a barrier to opening up where it feels like a much more conscious decision that I have to make to actually open the thing.
Yeah.
Trying to do that less. Find us out there. That'll do it. I'm Paulopolis.
I want to divorce myself from this human family.
And remember, the one good thing about Megalopolis. Oh, God.
There are only two things you can stare at too long, the sun and your soul. You wanna use
Okay,
that?
the one good thing about Megalopolis is that one of the things that you absolutely can stare at for too long is Megalopolis.